Hi, and welcome everybody to this online session. Thank you for taking the time to watch this presentation. My name is Anne, and I'm a territory manager at Turnitin, in which I'm responsible for the IB schools in Europe. I live and work in Newcastle in the northeast of England, but I'm originally from the Netherlands. Today, we will have a look at how we can use the feedback cycle to address student skills gaps and what role technology can play in closing these gaps. Let's have a quick look at the agenda. We'll kick off with a little background of Turnitin and dive further into the feedback cycle and challenges, as well as the student skills gaps, before having a look at how our products, Turnitin Feedback Studio, and the new additions can help to support your students and keep an eye on emerging trends such as contract cheating. So who are we? A little bit about us. Our story begins in 1998 on the west coast of the United States, where 4 students of Berkeley University built a peer review application that helped them in receiving feedback from their classmates, and we still value this today. The application grows into Turnitin or Turnitin.com with the launch of similarity checking, the growth of our comprehensive content database, as also a number of years later to the add-on of online feedback and grading, using the check not to police, but as a formative learning tool. We aim to keep listening to the market, making sure that our products are up to date with the needs and requirements of the educational community, not only from a product perspective, product technology perspective, but also when it comes to accessibility and equality. It is our mission to ensure the integrity of global education and meaningfully learning outcomes, and we hope to play a little role in creating a better world that way. And in that respect, I don't have to tell you that academic integrity is crucial and a very important value in the IB program, one that we cannot highlight enough. And we are very grateful and proud to have partnered with the IBO for many years to help uphold those values. At the same time, if we look at the second quote, it is important that we look at the bigger picture. We are setting up students not just to graduate the IB program, but to set them up for the rest of their lives. In Dutch, my native language, we have a saying, jong geleerd is oud gedaan. And it means that what you are learning or have learned when you are young, you will use when you're old or older. So when students at a young age learn values such as integrity, they will be able to naturally act upon those values when they get older. So how can we teach the young? How can we keep students motivated and excited to learn and improve? And what role does feedback play in their academic journey? So giving personalized feedback, either face-to-face or online on your students' works, gives an opportunity to communicate with your students at their level. So it helps reflect on their work, encourages them to take further action, improve their writing skills by using this feedback in their next paper or next assignment. And this is also known as the cycle of feedback. So reflect, encourage, improve, and use. And it is a way of engaging students in their learning. And we have seen that this has become more important in the last year, especially during the pandemic. Also being aware of how social, cultural, and emotional elements can impact how feedback is delivered or received is important. It is a one-to-one conversation to address the individual student's needs and address their particular gap in skills in return, which in return can attribute to motivating your students in improving and striving in being the best that they can be. So this isn't only important in their work as such, what they do well, what could be improved, but also in their understanding of academic integrity and the responsibility your students have in this. There are quite a number of skills that students require these days for their further academic life, but also if we take this a step further into their careers. So we have listed a number of skills and highlighted a few gaps we picked up from the community, focused on the gaps in secondary education, to discuss those in a bit more detail. As previously said, the younger we can teach students about academic integrity and support them in acquiring these skills, the better for their future or further journey. So let's start with independent thinking. So this is a personal skill, having belief in your own views and values and your own judgment. Shaping your view and becoming an independent thinker is a continued learning journey by reading, using other people's words to express your own thoughts, identifying the other argument, but also interact with people who are different from you with a focus on respect. And I think this is something that IB schools are maybe 1-2 steps ahead of schools that offer a national or a regular curriculum. The international environment, the different cultures, the different upbringing of students, that all helps, but it doesn't come easy. And let's have a look at digital literacy and research. So in our current world, the scale of freely available online information is mind-blowing. It is not always easy to successfully identify if an internet source is trustworthy. And according to the UK National Literacy Trust, only 2% have the critical literacy skills they need to tell whether a news story is real or a fake news. And I think that digital literacy ties in nicely with research skills. So the internet is a maze, and it requires a lot of practice to search and find, collect and interpret it, and also evaluate relevant information. So asking the right questions, using the correct keywords, as well as checking your sources on realness, but also on accuracy, importance, and social or cultural context is needed to hand in good quality work. On our website, you can find a few blog posts on this topic if you are interested in this and would like to know a little bit more. And let's jump to referencing. So students often understand that they cannot just submit work that is not their own, and they know the importance of originality. If you use someone else's words, you must acknowledge the original source, either in text or in a bibliography. So the confidence in formatting these references or citations is not always very high. And there might be questions as well with regards to when a phrase needs to be cited or referenced, which brings us to the final skill gap, which is building confidence. Not only do we see a challenge for teachers in motivating and inspiring students and reassuring them and giving that support in building that much needed confidence in their learning and writing, the students' internal process of building confidence, or in other words, the belief in themselves, the belief that they can do it. Students nowadays often feel a lot of pressure and stress to do well in a school environment for themselves, but also put on by their parents, the peers, or maybe the goals and dreams they have for their future. They are hence more likely to use someone else's work, and we see a rise in contract cheating, where a student pays to have the work written for them. Or for example, in the IB environment, have the help of a private tutor or a parent to get those top of the class results. And I will talk about contract cheating a little bit later in this presentation. In closing these gaps, your feedback is incredibly important and it can make a huge difference for the student. So how can we help? Turnitin Feedback Studio might be a familiar tool to you. You might actually use it on a day-to-day basis. But in what way does it support in filling the gaps that we've just spoken about? As a teacher, you can use different functionalities in Turnitin Feedback Studio to provide your students of feedback. So you can write on their paper, use quick marks, which you can use and reuse. You can use pre-made marks or create your own. or create a set for the school so that all teachers use the same terminology for all students. There is even a preset of quick marks for the IB extended essay for you to use. You can also leave a larger written summary on the student's work or leave a voice message. And this has proven to be a much loved functionality during COVID, as it offers a more personal way to communicate and engage with your students. Personalized, meaningful feedback gets picked up by students much quicker, build their confidence, and as a result, makes your students better independent learners and writers. We also spoke about the availability of this enormous amount of information, which can be accessed at any time or place. So the source overview in Turnitin Feedback Studio gives a good insight in what sources your students turn to for their information, and it gives you, as a teacher, a great starting point in conversations about the quality of sources, about fake news and best practices in doing research online. Especially in international schools, English is not always the student's first language or the language spoken at home. TFS provides an automatic grammar feedback functionality to support students and you as a teacher when you're grading in this particular area, and it gives them an opportunity as well to self-correct. Then probably well known to you, there's the rubrics. So as a teacher, you can build a rubric, or again, use a ready-made available one, to communicate what will be assessed and where the focus will be in terms of learning objectives and goals for an assignment. Students thus have a clear overview what is expected of them and can use the rubric as a guideline in their writing process, hopefully submitting their work with that good feeling. Rubric items and quick mark comments can be linked, which makes it easier for the student to understand what you refer to or where further work is needed. They help to deliver a key message in an easy to understand language. And last but not least, Feedback Studio provides a way to get more out of your feedback, or something that I would like to call feedback storage. In my high school days, quite a while ago, feedback was written often and read on the assignment I handed in a week or so before. And the number in the right-hand corner was the most important part. And if that was good, I confessed, I would not give the comments a better look. We would then go home, proudly present the graded paper to our parents, or try and hide it if the result was bad or below their expectation. And I'm sure this is not the kind of behavior that teachers or parents would like to see. We've spoken about the feedback cycle earlier this afternoon, and the final step in that cycle is that in order to learn and improve, it is important that the feedback is used in the next assignment or work. Now, students, young adults love digital, and any excuse to work with a screen is welcome. So being able to provide feedback on this level, basically in their language, is a benefit. The work and the feedback will be stored in a learning management system, such as ManageBack, or as a document, and they can go back to it whenever they need to, for example, when working on a new project. It also gives you, as a teacher or even as a parent, the opportunity to refer to the feedback provided in earlier assignments and give your support that way. When it comes to academic integrity and plagiarism, students get more and more creative to make sure that they surface a low similarity score, even if a low score doesn't always mean that everything's well. So they may have seen videos online that tell them how to do this. And our new flags feature has been created to pick up on these text manipulations. And it will highlight two types of manipulations. The first one being hidden text. So this is mainly white on white text, which can be used to increase the word count of the document or to try and break down the algorithm in a sentence by adding a white letter between the words. Feedback Studio also flags replaced characters. And this is when a student has used characters from a different alphabet, which are hard to notice with the naked eye, to again break up that algorithm. I sincerely hope that this kind of behavior is the exception, but in case it happens, it will show. And you can speak to your students about the importance of integrity and originality and take further steps if needed. If we look at the numbers, research has shown that 77% of the students believe that the use of Turnitin Feedback Studio has helped them become better writers. But we didn't stop there in supporting students, and we have recently launched Draft Coach for students and our product authorship that looks at the authenticity of the student's submission. What is Draft Coach? Draft Coach is a similarity and citation check for Google Docs. It's a product add-on to Turnitin Feedback Studio, which is aimed at helping students. So this means that your students are the end user of the product. At this point, Draft Coach is only available for Google Suite for Education or Google Docs, and we understand that most of you will most likely work with the Microsoft package. So I will only briefly touch upon this. There is good news as well. Our development teams are working very hard on a version of Draft Coach for Microsoft, and we hope that this will be available to schools soon. And we will definitely keep you updated on that. So Draft Coach helps your students in two ways. It offers a similarity report and it offers a citation report, and both help students during their writing process and their understanding of originality. So some similarity is always expected, but it doesn't necessarily mean plagiarism. It is understanding where, as being a student writing your paper, you might go wrong and take ownership in your work. Draft Coach provides instant help in this, and it supplements the work of the teacher, as you may not always be available or have the time to go through this with your students at any time of the day. And the product will highlight text matches, as would be the case in a similarity report, as well as identifying any references or citations that are missing. And this will support you and your students and hopefully increase their confidence in submitting their work, but also make them think twice about their work and build on those independent thinking skills and their understanding of academic integrity, which gives you more time to focus on other challenges or other work. In other words, the product aims at increasing the students' responsibility in checking that their work is original and well referenced, while helping them improve their skills. We are very lucky to have a large amount of customers within the IB sector that agree that our software is aimed at improving writing and thinking skills and supporting the students' further development. Students appreciate that Feedback Studio is used as a learning tool, helping to develop skills that work towards the IB learner profile areas of thinkers, inquirers, and communicators. I absolutely love how Judy Brent linked Feedback Studio with the IB learner's profile, and that she speaks about a journey that the student undertakes. It is not just the result or the destination that matters, as we see so often these days. The current focus on results shows, for example, in the rise of contract cheating. While a lot of trends drip down from higher education, I think in a way this is a trend that you may have faced a lot longer. So while we see an uprise in websites offering to write assignments, the struggle that international schools often have is a bit too much support from parents or a private tutor. At the same time, it is also very difficult to action on it. Having conversations with parents is often challenging because they're either part of the issue or know about it. And proving that the student has not written the assignment is very, very difficult, if not pretty much impossible. So when there is an issue regarding plagiarism, you can get a similarity report to start the conversation. And with contract cheating, it's almost a bluff game. So we developed a new software solution called Authorship, looking at both the deep document metadata and forensic language to help you identify where there might be issues of contract cheating. As this is a much more complex analysis than the similarity report, I won't have time to go further into this, but please feel free to get in touch with us if you want to find out more about it. My colleagues and I are currently available in our virtual booth during the conference, and we are very happy to help you. If you watch this at a different time, please feel free to contact us via the contact details currently shown on your screen. I'd like to thank you for your time to watch this presentation. Enjoy the rest of the conference, and I hope to speak or to see you soon. Bye.